Thank you. So, just in terms of explaining things, there's not really a lot of complicated stuff going on in that song. It's all in 4/4. There's no time signature changes. The opening riff is just in like an F-sharp Dorian, using the best notes of that scale, which is the minor third, and then the natural 6 for. You can make a career out of those notes. It's true. So I just wanted to write something where, you know, we have a lot of actually more structured stuff on the album Culture Clash. So this is one of the songs where it's really kind of wide open, and Guthrie gets to just kind of like, and Marco gets to just do whatever they want. Me too. That's, I think, all I have to say about that song. Guthrie?
I have nothing to add. Yeah, it's at the more normal end of our aristocratic spectrum, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, you know, the song is really, I mean, the fun lies in basically just, you know, getting kind of loose, you know, and playing that song. It's a great song, you know, for the first half of the set, you know, because, you know, you kind of get grooving, you kind of, you know, check, you know, how the sound goes. It's very important, I think, in my opinion, to pick songs for the first, you know, 5 tunes that you have in your set that kind of, you know, encourage you to kind of tweak with the sound and kind of, you know, give you enough headroom to kind of deal with other things so that you feel comfortable on stage. And then you play all the complex shit.
We're happy to answer questions for you guys in between each song we play, so if anybody has a question, I don't know how we'll do this so that we can hear you. And maybe Pablo will translate if necessary.
Actually, I can tell you what happens where I live in England. At an event like this, we would say, any questions? Everyone will look at the floor and study it intently and hope that the guy next to him will have a question, because my people don't like to draw attention to themselves. I hear you guys are different, so please don't be shy.
And in my country, actually in Germany, people will respond, but they will complain.
No questions? Yes, right there. His question is, was that all prepared? So this is a question about what's the song and what's improvised.
Yeah.
So, let's say the first section of the song is just like, and then Guthrie goes, yeah, in the intro. And we play around a little bit with that. All the other stuff is improvised. Then, you know, when we get to the head, there is a melody. So, yeah, exactly. That's all prepared. So there's an A section and a B section. You know, and the B section is more of kind of like with the pre-chorus theme. And then this is the chorus. So those parts are parts, and then when it gets to the solos, then we're soloing. And then there's a vamp in the end where we'll play this vamp and Marco will solo over it. So that's a solo vamp, and then that part. So you get the picture? There is some compositional material, but we just are always trying to kind of push and pull with it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, if I may add, I think it's very important to keep things fresh, you know, so the thing is, we have of course parts where we return to, but we try to not repeat ourselves, you know, every day, you know, every night, because otherwise it becomes like routine, and routine is sort of boring, in my opinion. Really it is, you know, unless of course, you know, I'm always looking forward, like Frank Zappa had this kind of theory as well, like if you listen to Frank Zappa's music, like the black page is completely written out, or like Ship Arriving Too Late to Save Drowning Witch, but there's like always parts in it where the band can just let go and be free, and then return to the other stuff again. I think it's important to do that.
Oh, we have a microphone now.
Bueno, no.
Thanks. Talking about some freedom, I just want to know if you have some, let's say, a drum lick or whatever that you don't have like pretty sure. Did you throw this out, or you just play things that they are not prepared, but they are kind of your baggage?
Well, yes, there is like a sort of an alphabet, isn't it? If you know what I mean, yeah. I rarely play things that I can't play, because it would be very risky. So I always try to kind of play things that I do know, but I try to place them actually in the right moment. But the thing is, I think the key is anyways, it's combinations, you know, it's combinations, overlaps, and the rest is texture, and you kind of compose to it. So it's like literally improvising while speaking.
Yes.
So that's how I see it, really, you know. And I don't know if that really helped or if that answered the
yes,
question.
Because sometimes let's say you see some, I don't know, like Marco Miniman drum lick, and you say, I can understand it, but I never studied it. But I have the structure in my head. Well, I don't know if my limbs are ready to play that.
Yes, well, I can tell you a story about that. I used to, when I started with my independence approach, I had to practice all these things from scratch, of course. So what I would do, the things that I have in my head and I want to know, I will practice them at home or at sound check or something. And then when they work out, I will bring them to the audience. And I have a very funny story with that. At least it was really funny to me for that time, because I was working with this one band years ago, 20 years ago or something. And I was playing this rock production, and then during the lunch break, I was sitting there and rehearsing like a double paradiddle figure on the hi-hat, which is like double paradiddle. It's like right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, left, left, and then you play it between your feet. And then I wanted to play rhythm on top of that, alright? So it's like, hang on. So that stuff was very unusual for drum sets, so I had it always in my head and I practiced these things. And then the producer heard me practicing it, because by that time I wasn't able really to play it. And he thought it was another drummer sitting on the same drum set that I recorded on before, and he wanted to chase him away and kick him out of the studio. But it was me. So he sent the assistant, and he opened the door and just looked at me, gave me a blank look, and I was like, what? Everything okay? And he was like, no, it's alright. So then he closed the door, and then the producer came. And he goes like, opens the door and looks at me and goes like, oh, it's really you. You suck. And I was like, he's like, what happened to you? What are you doing? I was like, well, I'm practicing this kind of thing. You know, that's the reason why I practice. You know, so don't be scared, you know, of kind of if you have something in your head and, you know, just let it out. It takes time, you know. But these are the things, and the more knowledge you gather, the more freely you can speak with it. So, but yeah.
And you're talking about maybe like if you, let's say you have done this thing of
yes.
but you have this orchestration of hi-hats, and what you're saying is, okay, I got this and I have the independence for this. So now that it's more kind of my language, I can orchestrate it differently.
Yes.
And you're every night trying to bring new stuff out of this kind of thing.
Well, yeah, it automatically happens. It's like the song, isn't it? You know, it's like basically this pattern happens, and then you improvise on top. I tell you what, here's a good exercise for all the drummers out here. And it's like the more doors open, the more combinations you know, the more doors open automatically. So if you are aware of, first of all, a single stroke roll, which is this, or single stroke combinations. Right, left, right, left. Then you have a double stroke combination. Alright? Then you have maybe like a triple stroke combination. Then you have maybe a paradiddle. Then you have a reverse paradiddle. So this is now when we start combining singles and doubles. Now if you kind of digested all of this, you can set yourself a tempo and just talk freely with that and kind of, you know, combine singles, doubles, paradiddles, all that, and maybe even have a parallel on the feet. So check this out, so we can do this. So you can basically then, later on, kind of just use this over the entire drum set. Stuff like that. But that's only the language of combinations. So, you're cool with that? Okay, thank you.
Let's take one more question and then we'll move on to the next song. Right there in the middle. Microphone.
Hi, first of all, I want to ask you something to Guthrie. What can you tell me about, or can you tell us about insight or alternate picking? What do you use?
I like the Bruce Lee thing where you steal different bits from different ways of thinking and use whichever one works best for the thing you're trying to do in the moment. So I do a mixture of everything. For years and years when I started, everything was alternate picking. And alternate picking to me is like a metronome. If your hands go... it's always easier to stay in time than it is to go out of time. You know? Because it's a natural thing, it's down, up, down, up, down, up, forever. And as you will know, the problems start when you try to cross strings.
Oh yeah.
So for years I would just try and approach it, I guess, the Steve Morse way. You know, like what Steve Morse picks, he doesn't care how hard something is, he alternate picks it and it works because he's Steve Morse. So I tried to make that work for me. And then gradually economy picking started to work its way into what I did. And the big problem I had was it didn't feel as good. With alternate picking, all your downbeats are always downstrokes. So just biologically, you want to make the important notes sound bigger, louder, and it's easier to be in time. And with economy picking, you're kind of turning around. So sometimes it's down, up, and then suddenly it's up, down, the other way around for no reason.
Down, up.
And it messes with your groove, particularly if you're swinging. So here's something I did.